Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's session. Before we begin, if you could kindly let me know in the chat that you can see me, that you can hear me, that would be fantastic. If you have just joined the live, please kindly let me know in the chat that you can see me and that you can hear me. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Amazing. Now I'm getting the messages. Thank you, Jen. Thank you, Arunda, Hati. Hi, Matthias. Hello, everyone. Hi. How are you feeling today, guys? How has your day been so far? Using the chat, you can let me know. All right, you're either not typing or we're in a bit of delay here between what I say and what I see, right? Here we go. Now I'm seeing the messages. Oh, you worked this morning. Amazing, Matthias. Hope you've done a lot of work. Good, good. Hi, Janice. Weather is nice. Yeah, weather is very good where I am as well. Yeah. And I did also do some good work today in the morning. Thank you, Matthias. Hello, everyone. Well, let's start the session. First of all, welcome to today's session, Q&A session, Quiet No More, How to Be Heard as an Introvert. My name is Diana Robertson, and I'm a communication skills trainer, award-winning public speaker, TEDx speaker and coach, and founder of Skills Me Academy, UK's top virtual school for developing soft skills. Today's session, today we're following a new format. We never really done sessions like this in the past. And the point of the session is for me to answer your questions. That's all. I won't be giving any content from my end or anything like that. I've been getting repeated questions about certain topics, such as speaking as an introvert, and I thought it would be a nice idea to just answer them all just like this online. Now, the way that it works is that we have sent a form to everybody who has registered to submit their questions in advance. So if you have, I will be starting with those questions. And after that, I'll open the floor to anybody, and then I'll be able to answer your questions right from the chat. Okay. So I hope that works. Also, before we begin, a quick introduction about myself. You might be thinking, like, why should you be listening to me? Well, first of all, I'm also an introvert, and I used to be very shy. I used to be incredibly shy, and I used to have pretty bad communication skills in the past, and they really got in the way of my success, and I mean a lot. Starting during university times, when I couldn't find a single internship because I would not be able to pass the job interviews. So that was just my curse. I would go through all the stages, but then when I get to the interview stage, that's it. I mean, that's always the end. Then also had issues with finding a partner. I was too shy to go out there and actually ask people out or start a conversation. I was always waiting for somebody to approach me. Well, and sometimes not the right people approached me, if you know what I mean. Also later, this followed me in my further career. So not only in the field where I initially started, which is finance, but also in other things. Eventually, I opened a business, not this business, a totally different business. And there, I would say one of the key reasons why the business did not succeed wasn't the idea, wasn't the implementation, but it was myself. And specifically, my lack of people skills at the time, because they were, I needed to go out there, talk with potential clients, secure deals. And those things just came to me really, really hard. So for example, quick example, I needed to make 10 calls a day to secure connections and chat to potential clients. If I was lucky, I would make 2 calls. And just because of the procrastination, I really was afraid of speaking to somebody and persuading them to buy something or even have a meeting with me. And from those 2 calls, if one of them did not respond, instead of feeling sad, I would actually be feeling relieved, like, oh, it's so good they did not respond, because I really did not want to have that chat. So as you can see, my communication skills literally were in my way of success. But later, I realized that this is a big issue in my life and something needs doing about it. And this is when I started researching the subject, learning communication skills, going to the various trainings. I've been coached by some really good people as well. So, year after year, I realized that communication skills can be built. And then they got me to where I am today, where I'm no longer afraid of interviews. I'm definitely not afraid of, spontaneous things like we have today. In the past, I would be absolutely terrified of this, answering things on the spot. I asked my current husband out myself. He asked me to marry him, but I asked him to go for the first date. So that also worked. And so, now I also have a business in communication skills, interestingly. So things worked out for me, but I'm here to help, to make sure that it works for you too. So what I'm trying to say is I have quite a bit of experience, and I hope I will be able to help you today with that. And now let's go to the first questions. So we'll be displaying them on my screen. So first, the prepared questions. I've got a question here. How can you be your introverted self and show that you are passionate among an environment that requires you to be an extrovert? So how to stay an introvert, but then show the passion in certain environments. It's an interesting way of phrasing the question. Now, the person who sent me the question didn't sign their name, so I hope you're present here today. Because when it comes to speaking about passion, normally what a lot of people find is that regardless of their personality traits, they're able to do that pretty well. In fact, that's one of the advice we give to people, to talk more about things that give them passion, because that will give that energy boost to you, and you will be speaking, as an extrovert, let's say, if you want to call it that way. So I'm struggling with this one. Maybe if you're here with me, maybe you could clarify the question. Unless there is some other issue going on here. Maybe you're afraid of speaking in front of people who require you to be an extrovert, in which case, maybe speaking just about passion is not enough. But if you could, if you're here, if you could clarify the question, that would be amazing. In the meantime, I will be going to the next one. I tend to stay quiet because I always fear the judgment of others. And in my case, this happens also with friends and family. I'm currently looking for a job, re-entering the workforce after 8 years because of my bachelor's and master's. And the thought of interviews gives me so much anxiety that I partially pray that I would not pass the CV stage. Oh, I have been there. At this point, after a year of looking unsuccessfully, I'm growing tired of overthinking and my anxieties as a highly introverted person. Yeah. whoever wrote this, I can really feel you. I know how it feels not to be able, well, to have the anxieties, not to be able to see your results, not being able to find a job. It's awful. It's truly, truly awful. So now you didn't actually ask a question there, but I assume your question to me is how to get better at interviews, because it seems to be that's the number one issue you're having, just from what I read. And here I would like to share with you the methodology we generally follow at SkillsMe, which you can use in your everyday life as well. And it's about, fundamentally, it's about practice. So, here is a quick one. Say you want your friend, or not your friend, let's say you want your daughter, if you have a daughter, to learn how to ride a bike. Yeah. And you have three choices how to teach her how to ride a bike. Option number one is to ask her to go on Amazon and read about riding a bike. Option two, you tell her, go to YouTube, watch some videos how people ride a bike. And option three, okay, let's go together and you'll sit on a bike and I'll show you how to do this. But basically, you'll be doing it yourself. Which option would you go for? You can send your answers in the chat. But I know most people would go for option number three, and it's a pretty obvious option when it comes to riding a bike. However, people don't realize that riding a bike, just like any communication skill, is a skill. And in order to learn a skill, you need to actually do it. Now, how does it apply to interviews? So this means that just researching about a company and reading the information about them, reading about their values and things like that, it's all very important. But that will not allow you to just pass the interview if you just do that. If you don't act well during high pressure environments, what you want to do is simulate that same situation, so you can. So before you go to interviews, you know that you have already done it. For example, you could do this with your friends or colleagues, or well, maybe you don't have colleagues at this point, but yeah, maybe your friends, maybe your family. And the thinking is to create this demo version of the interview where you would see that person who's interviewing you as a real interviewer. So maybe they could dress up for it if you want. So you don't want it to be like a relaxed, you're just drinking coffee there or something. Yeah, what was the next question? Oh, on this question, I'll say that and that. No, you want the actual simulation of that interview. So maybe they could prepare some questions that you wouldn't know in advance, or maybe you can give them the questions, depends how you do the arrangement, in a way better if they're unexpected. And then they ask you the question and you have to answer. And you can even time it. You can say like, okay, this interview is going to last 20 minutes max, and I can't talk about anything else. I just have to be answering those questions. And like this, you put yourself in the simulation. You put yourself on the bike. And after riding it once, you will start developing that skill. It's not a skill yet, though. So to make it a skill, you will need to make multiple simulations like that. And depending on your situations, it could be 3, it could be 10, it could be 20. It depends. Ideally, you want different people doing it to you and asking you different questions. And just like that, you're going to train. You're going to train yourself how to answer questions fast. And you'll make sure you have memorized the answers for a particular company as well. That's what you want. If you do that enough times, your anxiety is going to decrease a lot. I'm not saying you're not going to have any, but it will drastically decrease to the point that you will be thinking with more clarity during the interview itself. If you want help with these things, you can do it also not only with family and friends, we could also do it with coaches or with HR specialists. I'm sure if you Google it online, you can find people who specialize in this type of thing. Or you can do it with a communication coach as well, if you want to. It's up to you. Or with family and friends. I hope that answers the question. Now let's go to the next question. When in public, I'm often in autopilot mode. Sometimes, if I bump into someone that usually says hi, I just stare at them instead of saying hi first. How do I remember not to stare for long periods of time? Um, well, before I answer this question, my question to you is, how important is this in your life? The reason I'm asking this is I myself on autopilot a lot of times, and I mean a lot of times. And I don't know if that can be fully fixed. I'm not sure. At least the feeling of autopilot. You can definitely train yourself to have faster reactions to things. So people do that via, for example, impromptu speaking training. So this is where they're put in impromptu situation and they have to answer on the spot. And the more you do that, the more you develop the skill of answering on the spot without thinking, right? But in this case, you're saying you're on autopilot. I'm not sure even that will help on autopilot. For example, my husband always makes this joke like, "Oh my God, I spoke to your secretary earlier, and she was quite annoying." Um, and the thing is, I don't have a secretary. But I often also operate on autopilot. So when you ask me a question and I'm thinking about work, for example, my secretary will answer for me and I would have no idea what did I say. So he would ask me, love, would you like to have, for example, chicken or beef? No, no, are you okay with having chicken for dinner? I'll be like, yeah, yeah, sure, sure, sure. And then in the evening, I'll be like, not chicken again. Yeah, and he's like, well, I did ask. And I would honestly have no recollection of that conversation. So yeah. So my question to you, do you really like, does it matter if you're on autopilot? I think you could live with that personally, but I don't know. As for speed of reaction, it absolutely can be trained with impromptu speaking. Next one. How to not be scared of people's reaction to you. Um, yeah, people's judgments. That's an interesting one, isn't it? And it's a hard one as well, because fundamentally we are social creatures and we care about what do other people think of us. We just do, and we can't turn that off entirely. We're still gonna care. However, it is very useful just for mental health to develop some sort of system where the negative feedback is not going to hurt you so much just because, well, it's impossible to please every single person. It's just impossible, really. um, and I've actually, like, although I thought I have dealt with this issue ages ago because I received tons of feedback all the time. Some of it is going to be negative, some is it's going to be positive. It's just the more people I speak to, the more feedback I generally get, and of course, some of it is sometimes negative. While others would be like extremely positive, right? And you just look at it, and sometimes it's literally opposing. So just to share with you, that's that will always happen. That somebody's not going to be happy with you. And I experienced this situation recently, but for some reason, those negative comments kind of, they actually affected me this time. I think somebody said things a bit personal, like, "Oh, like I expected more from a TEDx speaker and coach," or somebody else said also something. Now I no longer remember it, but I know some comments just kind of bothered me, and I couldn't really understand why, because, well, I couldn't, because I mean, normally I'm okay with dealing with feedback, but this time it bothered me. So I asked uh, a life coach I was working with about this, if he could interpret this for me, maybe help me not to have these negative feelings because they are not serving me at all, right? If I focus on them, I can't do my work. When in fact, I shouldn't be looking into that. I should be focusing, okay, how can I do things better, for example, right? And how can I serve more people? And he said this really interesting analogy. He said, well, imagine a football match, right? And imagine that you're your team, whom you're supporting, has scored 1 and the other has scored 0, so 0, and you have 5 minutes left till the match end, right? And so your team is winning, you have 5 minutes left. And he asked me, okay, so how do you think? What could be the thoughts going on in fans' heads? And well, I give him some examples. So people could be thinking, oh, yay, we're winning, we won. So excited. Some other people could be thinking, oh my God, let that time finish faster. So they'll be anxious. And some other people on the other, for example, on the other team, they will be thinking like, okay, that's it, we lost it. And they just leave the match, so they will be hopeless. While others would still have some sort of hope, like, oh my God, we still have 5 minutes. Come on, you can do it, guys. You can do it, guys. So basically, there will be different thoughts. And he's like, okay, so we've got 50,000 people watching this match, but there is only one match. So whose version of the match is correct? I mean, if you ask these people, is the match good or bad? How many answers will there be? 50,000. Because every single person is seeing it from their own reality. But facts are facts. And that is just people's opinions. That no matter how well you do at something, sometimes, like really no matter, some people will not be happy for whatever reason. And I think it's nice to just understand that the point is never to please everyone, because it's impossible. So no point trying. You're gonna fail. You're gonna fail every time. And instead, to focus on something. And the other thing is that the issue with that is you're focusing on things outside of your control. So you're tying your mood to your to other people's opinion about you, which honestly is not worth it. Your mood should be affected by yourself, right? Internally, not externally. So I think it's interesting to consider these concepts. And every time you get negative feedback, to say to yourself, well, is this even true? Is this even a fact? What do I know about the situation? What's the reality of the situation? Should I care, or maybe not? Because their opinion doesn't have to be right at all. As I said, 50,000 people watching the same match, 50,000 opinions. So I think it's best if you decide what is right rather than listen to them. So at least that's what I got from my coach. And so far it did really help me process that feedback. Now, okay. Next question. How can I be content with being misunderstood? I think here the key is not to take it personally. If somebody didn't understand you, it doesn't mean that, I don't know, you're terrible at something, or you're neglected, or whatever feelings that may come with this. Because whatever feelings that come with this is stories that you're telling yourself. And the only thing that matters here is fundamentally the goal, to be understood. So my suggestion is to only think about, okay, what do you do to be understood? Do you repeat the same thing? Do you, I don't know, try to explain it in different words? Do you go out there and chat to people who matter so that they understand, for example, your needs, your feelings, your boundaries, and things like that? So basically, not to take it personally, and just communicate it again until they understand you. That's all that matters. Next one. What should I do if the room is full of strong character people and it seems I never got a chance to speak? Yeah, I know the feeling. I know the feeling. There was a time when I used to experience these situations a lot. And even when I was not only a member of a team, even when I was a leader of a team. And sometimes the team members would have such strong characters that I would not be able to assert myself. So so the conversation or like the company decisions would go in some weird way where I don't want them to go, just because somebody was louder. But fundamentally, I think it's key to understand that somebody being louder does not make them smarter. It doesn't. In fact, there are a lot of people with great ideas who sit around the table, and they need to be encouraged. Now, this needs to be understood by the leader, first of all, of the team. And if you notice that they don't give you an opportunity to speak up, then it's definitely worth telling them, like, look, I sometimes want to say things. You're not going to be perceived as weak character or anything like that. I mean, the leaders should be able to understand those things, because at the end of the day, they should be caring about getting the best decisions, not the loudest decisions. So this is if there is a leader. If there is no leader, you just need to sort out the situation yourself. Well, fundamentally, you jump into the conversation and you say, thank you so much for your perspective. I really appreciate it. But there is another thing that could be important, and blah, 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 blah. Fundamentally, somebody will just need to stay quiet, and they need to be told to be quiet. And you can be the person who tells them to be quiet. And it can be in a nice way. It doesn't have to be, hey, shut up. No, it could be like, hey, like that's a very variable opinion. I actually really like what Christina just said. That's a really great idea. But here is another one. Fundamentally, it's about, stepping up, finding that little gap in speech, or maybe not even gap, just jumping in if you feel that otherwise it's absolutely impossible. And sometimes putting people in their place, because some people just cannot listen, just cannot. And in which case, all you can do is just again say, hey, I understood your point, but I don't feel that it covers X, Y, Z. And I think we should pay more attention to this X, Y, Z. And then you say your opinion. In the beginning, it's not going to be comfortable, but the more you do it, the better you'll become. And that's how the courage is built, by actually doing the act of something you're afraid of. That's how the courage is built, right? It's not developed in your sleeve. So I hope you'll be able to do that. Now, that's main questions. I didn't answer all questions. I'm just looking at time. And I still want to give you the opportunity, those people who join us live. So if you have any questions for me right now, please send them. And I'll just answer quickly one more questions that I have left here. And yes, and in the meantime, please send me your questions. I might take one or two because we're close to the end of the meeting now. So let's see this comment. I'm very shy, lonely, single man. I had to leave my country and start a new life in the UK in 2019. Last August, thank you, God, I got a permit to live and work in the UK. I want to have a relationship and hopefully start a family one day. How do I approach girls and talk to them? Now, first of all, Ahmed, big congratulations on getting that permit. That's amazing. I know what's it like to not have a permit in UK. Now, I have it now, don't worry, but all legal. Yes, congratulations for that. And secondly, well, how to speak with girls. Now, I am definitely not a dating expert here. However, this question is not telling me enough, honestly speaking, to answer it. So if you're here, maybe you could clarify. I don't know, what is your issue? What is your problem? Why is speaking to girls an issue right now? What's going wrong? So if you tell me, I might be able to answer that. But fundamentally, like I'll start talking about the subject. I think it's what stops a lot of people from trying to speak to girls and things like that is, again, that fear of judgment and fear of approaching new people, and basically the feeling of being rejected. And I think in this situation in general, it's good to understand that it's okay if not every girl says yes. In fact, they won't. Just like with those 50,000 people in the match, people have different opinions about you, and it's okay. It's okay. And in order to get the skill of, well, and getting into habit of asking people out, for example, and not being afraid of it, best way to do it, I'm sorry, is practice. So in a way, it's a numbers game. Not just a numbers game, but also, I mean, to develop the skills, again, to develop the courage, you got to actually do it. That's how it works. It's not, I'm not sure I can fix something in your mind to suddenly, go out there and just suddenly be super courageous. Again, courage is built, skills are built with time. So maybe just allowing yourself to go to different events where ladies of your choice could hang out, and asking people out more often. And if you get rejection, be like, okay, no problem. And think about, okay, what did I do wrong in this case? Like, is there anything I could have done better in this approach? Maybe the answer is no, because, well, generally the lady just didn't fancy you, and that's okay. That's totally her right. That's fine. But the point here is not to concentrate on the idea, oh, I'll be rejected. Instead, concentrate on the idea that I will be accepted one day. I just need to learn how to approach ladies. And here, this is kind of my testing mode. I'm testing the different strategies. And by that, I'm getting better. There is this movie Hitch. I don't know if you watched it. It's just about that, actually. It's, well, for fun. If you want, I recommend watching it, not for educational purpose, but it's quite funny and entertaining. All right. Well, I didn't get any additional questions, and as such, I will start wrapping up then. Not that I see. Oh no, I see one from Ibrahim. Okay, I'm going to be taking that one, and that's it. So Ibrahim says, I have... Actually, I wonder if I can even show it on the stream. Yes, I can. Ha, nice. I have a fear of speaking. Everyone at work speaks to each other, but I don't know what to speak on in the morning meetings, colleagues, and worried about what would be relevant to speak about. Let me guess, are you new at your work? Did you just start it? Because in the beginning, that's okay. That normally happens to people when they haven't really made the connections, and they just haven't familiarized themselves with other people. And if this is the case, you'll get better with time. You just need a bit more familiarity with the place, with the topic, just listening to people, seeing what they care about, trying to find a conversation that they could care about as well. Yeah. Yeah, well, here you go. You said yes. So yeah, no, that's exactly the situation. It's okay. It's okay. It's always hard in the beginning to a lot of people. And the point is just give it time. Give it time. And as I said, just listen to what these people talk about and see if, like, just every now and then, like, try to say something on the similar topic they're talking about. Didn't work, it's okay. Try again next time. And with time, they'll start noticing you, and you'll realize that, okay, you understood the topics they care about, and you'll just be like one of them, I'm sure. Okay? Best of luck with that. All right. Well, that would be concluding our session. So thank you very much, all of you, for joining me today. If you're considering developing your skills further, what can you do? Different things you can do. You can consider coaching sessions. For example, right now I'm taking on coaching clients, one-on-one clients, if you want to work with me directly. I didn't do that for a long time. I've been just focusing on business, but now I have some gaps in my schedule. So I have opened bookings. So if you're interested about working with me directly, where I can coach you through your individual problem, please feel free to check out. Well, we're going to send you a link later on via email if you have registered, but here is the link as well. I'm just going to send it in the chat now. There we go. Sent it in the chat. You can book me through this link. If you want to have a consultation first about your specific case, there is also an opportunity to book a 15 minutes call with me so we discuss your specific case. But fundamentally, what you want, I mean, regardless whether you work with me or with somebody else, whatever communication issue you have, what you want is guidance from somebody who knows how to overcome this issue. This could be a communication skills coach, or it could be your friend, for example, on the condition that that friend has overcome their issue or is good at something you want to learn. So don't ask advice from people who are not good at something themselves. Also, you want feedback. You want useful feedback to see if you're doing something wrong or right. Now, in some cases, you can just ask people, okay, can you please give me some feedback on that and that? In some cases, you can't, like with girls not going out. Why did they reject you? Normally, they don't give feedback, but fundamentally, it would be good to generally find this person who could be giving you feedback and ways to improve. A coach is a good option there, but again, maybe you can find somebody else. And finally, what you want, and this is super important, you want practice. Because without practice, just like I mentioned the bike, you're not going to build that skill. It's only going to be in your head, but not a natural thing that you possess, that you do without thinking about. So guidance, feedback, practice. That's the three things you're looking for if you want to develop communication skills. An easy approach is to do it with a coach. That's just much faster, and it'll save you time, it'll save you energy later on. And it just really accelerates your success. So things you could spend years on, you could spend potentially days on sometimes, or months or weeks on, depending what's your situation. Sometimes some situations can be fixed really easily. So with some people, I have achieved incredible results just like in 2 sessions, and then they didn't need me anymore. Like that's it. That happened more than once. With some people, it's a longer process where we're working on more than one thing. With some people, it's a one session just to also sort one thing, and that's it. Goodbye, Diana, all good. So it depends. It depends on your situation. And if you want to discuss your particular situation, as I said, you can book a call with me there. You will be getting information about all of that in your emails. And for those of you who decide that, oh, hey, I really want to work with Diana, then I have a little gift for you, and that is a coupon code that you can apply later at that page. And that's what it says. So QA Diana, and that will give you £100 discount from any package that you choose. £100 discount, but it will only work for the next week. Right? So if you decide in the next week that you want to start working with me, here's your coupon. And also we have money back guarantee for everything. So for example, let's say you book a package and there is, let's say after the first session, you decide that, I didn't quite like it. It's okay. You can just send me an email within 48 hours and then say, hey, I want to cancel the rest, in which case your money for the other sessions will be all returned. So, I mean, or even if we find out, let's say you paid for 5 sessions and you only needed 2, again, send me an email, 48 hours, and that money will be returned as well. I mean, I'm not in business, so just taking your money. The point is to help you, and as many sessions as we need to, or as less sessions as we need to. All right. Well, I hope this was useful, and I wish you guys just best of luck with everything, with developing your communication skills, really. And I guess just one more thing: if coaching financially isn't for you, I know it's not for everyone. You can also check out our courses, Skills Me Academy's courses, because we teach a lot of skills. We teach confidence, we teach storytelling, we teach impromptu speaking, how to speak on the spot. So check us out. I'm sure you'll find something right for you. All right. Okay, it was lovely to have you all. Thank you for all your questions. Thank you for your participations. And I wish you best of luck and great success ahead of you. Bye-bye.